Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the MindShare Podcast. This is where we cut through the noise, say the things that need to be said, and give you strategies to work smarter, build mindshare, and grow a business that actually makes money. This is episode number 354, and it's a special one. We just wrapped our annual MindShare Mastermind. It was powerful. Every single person walked away with solutions, clarity, and action steps to finish the year strong and start the next one even stronger. And here's the thing. MindShare isn't about me. It isn't about my team. It's about the community. A collective of like-minded people all committed to winning. And together, we're stronger. Together, we see solutions faster. This week, I'm also riding the Ontario REALTORS Care Foundation motorcycle ride for shelter. By the time you hear this, the ride will have just wrapped up, raising awareness and money for shelter-related causes across Ontario. So today, I want to unpack three things for you. One, the power of community and why you need to surround yourself with the right people. Two, why the simplest marketing methods are working the best right now. And three, how mindset, discipline, and time management will make or break the rest of your year. Let's do this. All right. Starting off here, the power of community. I just talked about how MindShare is a collective. It's not about one person's ideas. It's about the group. It's about the people that are there that come together to share. And the best part about this group, this isn't some free social media platform where people get together and they just get online on social media and bitch and complain and say anything they want to say. You know, these keyboard ninjas who are also such, outspoken, tough individuals behind a keyboard. But, if it came face to face, most people wouldn't say half the shit they say. Most people wouldn't act with as much bravado as they do. And truth be told, we know social media is just like a cesspool of pollution. Now I know you for those of you that might be brand new to the show and brand new to MindShare, you might be going, "Whoa! I thought like this was supposed to be positive, and I thought like we're supposed to use social media in the good." Well, yeah, this is supposed to be positive, and yeah, you are supposed to be using social media in the right ways. And yes, I do believe that using social media is going to help you build more mindshare. However, the reality is, when you open up social media at the wrong times of the day, it is pollution. First thing in the morning, wrong. Last thing before you go to bed, wrong. We can't be letting people into our brains before our brains are primed and ready to take on the day. That's no way to start a day. And as I bring this back to sort of this collective, when you think about some of the groups you might even be part of, you join them for free. Everybody else joined them for free. A lot of people will go and just randomly, aimlessly, constantly promote themselves without any thinking about building a relationship. And a lot of other people sit there and again, like I said a moment ago, just bitch and complain. Go off about politics. Talk about who did wrong. Talk about somebody who was, maybe an agent on the other side of a deal that just wasn't smart enough for this person on this side of the deal, or wasn't professional enough, or maybe did something to do something wrong. But you see, what social media does, because it's free, is it gives every single person a voice. And then, if you're there for good intent, especially in some of those groups, now you got to sift through all the stuff, all the negative, all the jargon that goes on out there. And I got a lot of other words I was going to use for that, by the way. I'm just saying. But you got to sift through all that stuff to figure out what's going to be helpful and is that person credible? And how much longevity in the industry does that, or experience, let's call it, does that person have? See, that's the thing about social. And in fact, that's exactly why, again, when we talk about MindShare being a collective, everyone's got skin in the game. They've chosen to be here. They've invested money and time in being here. And those same people keep showing up to both give and get value. everybody has a vested interest in making sure that this collective works, that it makes sense, that it drives value for everybody that's part of it. So yeah, you spend a little bit of money, you join this community, this MindShare collective of ours, and now you know that every single person that's there came in with the right intentions. They want to learn as much as they can. They want to, leverage the group and the network and the community as much as they can. They want to get problems solved by the people within the community, but at the same time, too, they're here to give back to those exact same people. And now everybody's working together to get to another level. I mean, think about it. Free groups on social media are just, they're noisy. The commitment is the barrier to entry is nothing. There's a very low commitment from the people that are in there to actually give back. It's a free group. You could join like lots of them. But the flip side is when it's paid, it's an intentional community. It's focused. People go there for the right reason. This is high value. This is very results driven. And one thing we know for sure, right? Like you just can't win alone. And as much as I've joked before in the past where it's like, I'd love to go up to the acreage and hide out in the bush forever and build like a big tall wall with these like AI controlled turret guns on the corner. So if you come close, like uninvited, you just won't get any closer. And I'm like dead serious about that. I think it'd be super cool. At the same time too, I'd be in like total peace. But there is something to be said about the fact that like, you can't just disappear off the grid, expect to have the same things that you want in life, the same amenities, luxuries, and it not involve another person. So the bottom line really to that is like we all really do need the right people surrounding or around us that are able to support us, that are able to fuel us, that are able to tell us maybe when we went wrong, that are able to help us. Again, you can't do it alone. We just can't. Not for the life that most of us really do desire. So your network, it can either drain you or it can drive you. Think about the people around you right now. They say, you're a byproduct of the 5 closest people around you. However that line goes, it's something like that, right? We've all heard it. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Again, your network will either drain you or it will drive you. And the reason that people left our mastermind last week so fired up is because they were surrounded by people who think bigger, people who do bigger, people who share bigger. And that right there is the power of community. That's the power of the MindShare Collective, which, by the way, is our group coaching environment. I know I didn't mention that off the top. Really, what I'm trying to emphasize right now is community, is surrounding yourself around the right people that want to grow, people that want to achieve, people that might have done what you want to do. Because when you put yourself in those types of groups, in those types of rooms, you end up becoming one of those people. So here, action steps for you on this one. Audit your environment. Who are you listening to? And of course, right now, you're listening to me. I appreciate you. And seriously, a big thank you for tuning into this episode of the MindShare Podcast. I do hope that you are a regular listener. And if you haven't been already, I hope that you will continue to. In saying that, again, as we audit the environment, who are you listening to? Who are you learning from? Who are you leaning on? Who is influencing you? The next action step here would be, very straight up, and I'm sure you would guess at this one, but join a community where everybody's got skin in the game. Again, if you've got to spend a few bucks to be part of it, then you know that everybody else in that community also spent a few bucks to be part of it, so they truly care in getting the most out of it, which means they're going to give back to you as well. So as you give to them, they give to you. We've got a lot of reciprocity happening. There's a ton of growth happening, and there's a lot of success happening. And I would encourage you, if you haven't yet, to check out the MindShare Collective when we talk about this community, because everybody here has skin in the game. And here, I'll give you one more. And This comes off the heels of being at our mastermind. And in fact, I looked around and even to a bunch of my coaching clients in the room, and then we had a lot of people that weren't coaching clients yet. But I know there were certain conversations that happened between different people where I ended up actually pointing to those people and saying, you two are going to hold each other accountable. You two need to connect after this, not involving me, and just have your own conversations and figure out a way to get together with each other for a few minutes a week or every other week or for every month, and just check in with each other because you're very like-minded. And so that's what I would say to you here is the third action step is identify one person this week that you can collaborate with instead of compete against. Again, I've gone through this, by the way, where mentors of mine have said to me, connect with people in your industry. Ask them how they did it. And I've always said, but I don't want to drop my guard. I don't want my competition knowing that I don't have the answer, or I don't want my competition thinking they've got the leg up on me, or that I'm going to steal something from them so they're not going to tell me, or maybe they're going to stray me in the wrong direction. I always thought like that. Until I got pushed so hard to go and do it that I actually did it and realized that I was learning a lot more, that my competitors were actually wondering the same thing. So we were able to share what we call quote unquote war stories with each other. And in fact, I've opened up a huge opportunity because of that question that you will be learning more about in the coming, I'd say weeks, maybe months. But it's big. It's really big. And we're very, very, very excited about it. And it wouldn't have happened had I not gone ahead and thought, instead of competing against my competition, I'm going to collaborate with my competition, and I'm going to try to figure out what I don't know yet. So again, audit your environment. Check out the MindShare Collective. This is where we're talking about joining a community where everybody's got skin in the game. And identify somebody that you can talk to, that you might look at as a competitor, but maybe you could talk to in a different direction and say, you know what, I want to learn from you for a few minutes. I want to ask you some questions. It's not as scary as you think it is. Okay, let's keep moving here. Marketing reset. And I want to deliver this message and say, keep it simple. We overcomplicate way too much. Actually, here, coming out of the MindShare Mastermind the other day. So I was talking to one of the attendees there, and he expressed how he was having trouble getting started. He goes at it, he goes hard, and then he sort of falls off the wagon, and he doesn't, he finds it hard to stay motivated. He finds it hard to stay on top of his day. Back before he got married and had a kid, for him, he was very focused on answering the call at any moment of the day whenever somebody called him, and he'd be there. And now he's struggling because, of course, he's got goals. He's getting older. He's got a, he's got a wife. He's got a young child, and trying to stay on top of your game where you're, trying to service your clients and be there for them and deliver that level of service and experience that they've come to know from you. But at the same time, you're trying to spend as much, time as you possibly can with your family, and rightfully so. So he's having this struggle, like where to go, where to start, what to do, how to do. So it took a lot of conversation. And it took a lot of very pointed questions. And of course, look, within our world, when it comes to one, MindShare, regular listeners, new listeners, I just forewarned you, I'm very blunt. I say what needs to be said. I ask the tough questions, and I push your buttons. And I push your buttons in a way because I need to learn more if I'm going to be able to help you. I need to really help you dive deep so that not only can I help you, but you can help you. So anyhow, in speaking with them, and figuring that he's struggling with, what I will boil down to scheduling and staying on track and motivated, I asked him, I said, what are you doing? How are you doing it? And we kept going. And finally, I got so simple about it. And I said, what do you use for a calendar? And he says to me, I've got Outlook for business. I've got this app that I use for me and my wife. And then on a personal level, I use Google. I'm like, whoa. You've got 3 different calendars that you use? He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, Step number one, we got to boil this down to one place. And I'm sure some of you are nodding your head like, oh my God, that's crazy. 3 spots. Exactly. Stay with me here, though. We ended up figuring out that he was using 3 different calendars. So my big, crazy, like earth-changing moment, the bright, shiny object, the secret pill. Sorry. I said to him, boil it down to 1 calendar, not 3, not 2, not an app and a calendar, 1. Have 1 place that you go for work, for personal, for family, 1 place. And when I said it to him, he looked at me, and no joke, it may sound silly to you as I say this, but he looked at me and it was like this light bulb moment. And he realized, yeah, he's using too many different places. Now, you could be sitting there right now going, obviously, McFly, like I could have told you that. 3? What are you using 3? Use 1. I get it. But when I say to you listening right now, keep it simple, sometimes sometimes the solution, which is so easy, is just so hard to find because we're caught in our own heads. We're caught in our own shoes. We're caught in our own routines that we just don't see these things. So there's nothing silly about this. This was a very productive conversation, a very awesome, eye-opening moment for him. And the beauty is, as we went through this conversation, I explained to him, you've got to simplify. You've got to come down to 1 calendar. He immediately, within the next 12 hours, literally, because the next day, this was like a late night conversation. The next day, he's like, I did it. I'm using 1 calendar. I got rid of the app. I'm not going to do Outlook now. I'm just going to use Google. I said, perfect. And realistically, that was the recommendation I gave him. Google's a cloud-based calendar. It does integrate with a ton of different calendars, so you can basically import different calendars right into it and manage everything there, change your views so that like your family's not seeing your work stuff, but you can see everything. You know what I mean? So anyhow, point is, keep it simple. I told him, get it down to 1 calendar. He did it. Then he started scheduling accordingly. We went through some other action steps, and the point is, it was such a simple little change. All he had to do was change up and go down to 1 calendar. And now, over the past number of days, he's been flying. I've been doing these little accountability check-ins with him just to make sure he's on track. To make sure I didn't waste my time trying to give him more. I wanted to make sure he actually does something with it. And he did. And so far it's working. But the same that I've kind of alluded to over the past number of episodes, intensity is one thing, but consistency is another. And consistency will beat intensity every single day of the week. So now this is about his consistent execution with his calendar. But again, simple, not hard. But now all of a sudden, 1 calendar, take action every single day. Next thing you know, mindset's in a better place, energy's in a better place, you're better for your clients, you're better for your family. There's more success coming your way. Now, other things to keep simple, marketing. We overcomplicate it. And you know I'm on the other side of this all the time, listening to people and what they want to do and how they're doing and what they think is working and what's not working, everything else. And I'll tell you right now, something is having a comeback here. And you need to hear this because I'm on the front lines of it. My team is on the front lines of it. The phones are ringing like crazy. People are coming back. To what, you ask? Direct mail. An actual physical printed newsletter in an envelope with a real stamp directly addressed to a recipient. This is your group 1 marketing strategy. It's one of the touch points that we use to really connect with people and, well, hey, build more mindshare. And why is it having a comeback? We're getting online ads like crazy from every different source. We don't even know what's real anymore. Social media's got everybody being an influencer or a coach or a whatever, a realtor. Who do you trust anymore? We're bombarded by email and social. There's just way too much coming from the digital world. Companies and people, businesses, they've exploited it. So back to what I said before about community and having skin in the game, the buy-in. Direct mail actually tells people you're in business. You actually had to spend money on that. You actually had to take time to create it, produce it, send it. It's got a real stamp on it. And the reason why it's so impactful and effective is because unlike your social and your website and the ads and the email and the text message and even the phone calls that come through that one phone, direct mail comes through your mailbox. It's tangible, it's personal, and it's trusted. And when people get there, yeah, they might throw it out, but the reality is they can mute your phone call, ignore your text message, scroll past your social media, and delete your email faster than they can take that piece of mail out of the mailbox, look at it, process it, and toss it. And chances are, too, in fact, we know that 9 out of 10 people, if they recognize who the sender is, they will take a moment to look at it, which means we've just built even more mindshare. And we've done it using the neuroscience of consumer habit. We've penetrated the outer level of the brain, the neocortex, which is controlling the motor skills. So as they've taken it out of the mailbox, they've touched it and felt it. Then we've tapped into the middle part of the brain, the limbic system, which is actually what controls the emotions. Well, by seeing your name and brand, by seeing their name, by seeing a real stamp, even before they open the envelope to read the mail and read the value you've given to them, it's impacted the emotions, which ultimately drives us closer to the deepest part of the brain, which is the reptilian brain, otherwise known as the instinctive brain, which actually makes decisions. Which decisions? The ones to work with you or not, the ones to call you or not, the ones to refer you or not. So as we talk about marketing, we talk about keeping it simple. Direct mail has made its comeback, contrary to what anybody may believe. And if you haven't got a direct mail newsletter in place right now, I truly encourage you to contact my team at Kits. You can go to my site, MindShare101.com, click on marketing up at the top. You'll see all the stuff you need to know about Kits, and then you can get in touch with my team or even DM me, say Kits, Kits, and I will get you in touch personally. How about that? I will make a personal introduction to my team so they know where it came from. White glove service. We also know that repeat and referral business still drives, always has, always will drive 70 to 90% of our business. So again, stop overcomplicating. Stop chasing random strangers that maybe you have no connection with, that have no connection with you. Random strangers are exactly that, random strangers, and you at the moment are a random person, a random business. Again, keep it simple. Stop going after the masses. Look, hold on. Just let me clarify this. Yes, go after the masses. Meet one new person a day. That's 365 new quality leads in a year. Meet one a day. Doesn't cost you money. You got to be at the coffee shop, at the grocery store, at the gas station, at your kids' sports. One person. Meet them and put them in your database. You've just generated a new lead. In saying that, work your database. Every single day. Stop overcomplicating this stuff. Make your phone calls. Send your texts. Build your relationships. Repeat and referral will always be the way that most people in this business, I'd say 99% of people in this business will make 99% of their money. See, too many agents are wasting time on like these new bright, shiny objects instead of just doing what works. Again, stop overcomplicating it. AI is going to make me money. No, you are going to make you money. You are the one that needs to make you successful, not AI, not online ads, not social media, not direct mail, not email, nothing. You. All the marketing is all support mechanism. It's all support. And it's important that we make sure that those support mechanisms are the realest, most genuine, most authentic versions of us. And that's why phone calls are so impactful. That's why real mail and even handwritten notes are so impactful. So while everybody else is out there chasing AI and trying to figure out how's AI going to make me more money, how's AI going to help me do more business, and yet most of them have very little understanding about AI or even technology in of its own, a lot of people are just wasting their time right now overcomplicating everything. When what we need to be focused on 5 to 7 days of the week, or 5 out of 7 days of the week, is do your follow-ups, connect with the people on your contact list. That right there will drive a massive amount of business. The flip side is, again, you're chasing strangers all the time. You're spending stupid amounts of money, and the ROI is very, very thin. It's not good for your pocket. It's not good for your mind. And overall, it's not going to make you successful. And even if you are spending that money, if you are not converting those total strangers into people on your contact list and then sending the mail and doing the follow-up and everything else, you're still not going to see the business you want to see. Look, overcomplicating things will kill consistency. And like I said a moment ago, consistency will beat intensity every day of the week. Consistency is the magic ingredient to achieving anything you want in life. So think, like, your job isn't to chase leads. It's to stay top of mind. It's to build mindshare with people who already know, like, and trust you. I can't tell you how many deals I've done with people that know me, like me, and trust me that have taken years to do. But the reason I got them was because I stayed in touch. Because if I hadn't stayed in touch, even if I had met them once and I didn't get the business immediately, I don't stay in touch, I never get the business. Well, this is part of how we win more. Like, there's no secret sauce. I'm very blunt about this. I hustle harder than most people. I do more follow-up calls than most people. I have a better follow-up system than most people. I'm not saying I'm better, smarter, cooler, anything than most people, but I'll tell you 100%, I'm more disciplined. I held myself to higher standards. I hold myself to higher standards. Not you holding me to higher standards. I hold myself, because if I don't hold myself, you won't even know what standards I live by. But if you know me, you know how I do. And if you don't know me and you're getting to know me, you're going to figure out how I do. And again, it's not, hey, look at me. I do it. I do it one. So I can win. So I can be the best version of me. Two, so I can show you. I can lead by example. I can sit here and say it to you as adamantly as I say it to you without having any thought or any doubt that that's how I operate. So again, it's not to chase leads. That's not what you do. You are here to help people buy and sell the biggest asset in their entire lives, to create an experience that they're going to remember so that they refer you. Here, another client, real quick on this one, we talk about simplifying. I had another client of mine, we talk about follow-up here, and I kept coaching clients of mine. I kept saying to them, are you doing the follow-up? Are you doing the follow-up? Are you doing the follow-up? And the reality is, from our goal trackers, and we've got all these different trackers we use, because once you track all the data and you got all the data, you got the metrics, it's very easy to like make small little tweaks and changes in your business, and it makes such a huge, huge difference. And of course, if you're interested in understanding more about what I'm saying there, get in touch. We'll do an Explore call. We'll tell you all about what we do with our coaching clients, and how our coaches will help you get to the next level, hands down. In saying that, so I'm on a phone with a coaching client, and they're not doing their follow-up. So I start digging in. Again, same thing with the other guy with the calendar. Like, why? Why aren't you doing the follow-up? Okay, here's what you've got to do. And then I start mapping it out. Like, okay, the nighttime before, here's what I want you to do. And then, during the day when you're doing it, here's what I want you to do. And in doing all that, we realize something. And again, this goes on the theme of keeping it simple. We realized that the reason they're not doing it is because the CRM they're using is just way too cumbersome to use as they're moving through their day. And in fact, it's not even just the CRM, it's just the technology as a whole. It's just a pain in the butt. I'm driving, I got to tap into this app, then I got to click that button, then I got to look at this screen, then I click the wrong screen, and it's just a pain. And I went, hold on a second. And I had a light bulb moment. It's not that they don't want to do the follow-up. It's not that they don't recognize how important the follow-up is. What we just learned is that it's the app that it's just a pain in the ass when they're driving. Never mind just the app, but it's the technology as a whole which is a pain in the ass. So I was like, I want to make a suggestion here. Okay. How about the night before you go into that app while you're sitting down at your desk, on the couch, whatever, but the two of you go in there together and you just print out the people you're supposed to follow up with tomorrow. And now you've got them on a piece of paper. Could you do that? They're like, yeah, that sounds easy. I'm like, perfect. When you print it, I want you to print 2 copies. They're like, okay. Like, then sit with each other for 5 minutes and identify which one of you are going to call who. Could you do that? They're like, yeah, no problem. I'm like, what do you think would hold you back from doing that? They're like, nothing. It sounds too simple. I'm like, perfect. And then what about like making the calls tomorrow? They're like, well, be on a piece of paper right in front of me. I don't have to tap into anything. I just got to dial the number. Yeah, I can do that no problem. You see, we just got somewhere here. Again, simplify. We looked at their process. We realized the technology was hindering the process. We switched the technology into paper, simplified everything for them, and they again had their light bulb moment. Yeah, we could do that. And no joke, that was 2.5 weeks ago, and I got to tell you, every time I've checked in since then, they're doing their follow-up calls. I can see it in the goal tracker. I can hear it from them. I can hear it in the stories they're telling me. Now, don't you figure that if you're doing your follow-up, you're probably going to find at least, at minimum, one extra deal? I'd bet money on it. And I'll tell you now, too, that if you do more follow-up and you do it consistently, there's going to be a lot more than just one deal coming out of that. See, when things are too complicated, we don't do them. But when we start to simplify, we solve the problem, good things happen. And so sometimes that simplest solution really is the best solution. So here, I'll give you some action steps, okay? First one here. I want you to look at your process for staying in touch with your database. What does it look like? Are you sending a direct mail newsletter at least once a month? Are you sending an email newsletter at least twice a month? Have you got any active touch points already scheduled in your calendar? Say at least 3 of them. Where you're going to pick up the phone and call, you're going to text, maybe even go see people. At least 3 per contact in a year. What about your social media? What does that look like? Not what do you post, but how do you engage with people? How much time do you spend engaging with them in a day? I want you to think about your keep in touch, and I want you to ask yourself, do I have a mix of active and passive? Excuse me. I could have muted that, but you know what? This is legit. This is real. We're just, like, I'm a cappella right now. Anyways. Okay, so think about your keep in touch campaign and ask yourself, do I have at least one physical touch? Do I have active touch points mixed with my passive? The next one here, straight up, stop buying leads. Just stop. Okay, stop going to random companies to sell you random leads. They're just making money and you're wasting money. It ain't working. You know it and I know it. I know there's a very, 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 very small group of people that spend money on leads and there's a very large group of people spending money on leads. There's a very, 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 very small group of people who spend that money who actually get the return. It's expensive. It is time consuming. And the reality is, if you just focused on moving one new person from being a stranger into your database per day, you will get more quality leads just by your own effort rather than buying it from some random company. And the last one here, ask yourself, what is the simplest way to deliver value to my audience this week? Then go do that. All right, let's take a real quick commercial break right here. This episode is brought to you by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems. We help realtors stay top of mind with automated, consistent marketing, all to help you build more mindshare. REM Real Estate Magazine, the trusted source for Canadian real estate news and insights. And our friends at Revel Realty, redefining real estate with bold marketing, strong culture, and proven results. Don't forget to grab your ultimate marketing bundle at mindshare101.com/free. Again, for all the marketing talk we're talking about, the 7 ways to communicate to 2 audiences, grab a copy of that ultimate marketing bundle. It is totally free. It is on my website. It is there. It is ready for you. Read through it and then go implement it. You will build more mindshare. You will get more market share. Once again, that is mindshare101.com/free. And just before we move on, a big shout out to the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation Motorcycle Ride for Shelter. I am proud to have been part of it again this year. Make sure you visit realtorscareontario.ca/ride to learn more and see how you can get involved with the ORCF. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program over here. Let's talk time. Let's talk mindset. Let's talk discipline for a moment here. Most people fail not because their goal is impossible, but because they waste time. They don't take stock of their time. They don't look at their time as this fleeting asset, like this asset that we have that just keeps disappearing on us. Like every second you listen to this episode, time is passing. So people don't fail because the goal's impossible, but because they waste time, because they lose discipline over the structure that's needed, the action steps that are needed. They overcomplicate the process. But it shouldn't be so complicated. If you map out your goals and you map out your time and you operate to the schedule, you'll get more done. Just be disciplined. Doesn't matter how you feel. I've talked about this a number of times over the past few episodes. Strategic versus emotional responses. You may not feel like it, but it doesn't mean don't do it. There's a lot of times in a day where we don't feel like doing. It doesn't matter. It's not about how you feel. It's about what needs to get done if ultimately you want to hit your goals. I mean, look, our coaching program, both our one-to-one and our MindShare Collective, that's what we do. We try to dive in and we try to expose what your blind spots are. Again, like too many calendars or apps that don't work or lack of follow-up systems, right? Like we really try to dive in and understand, okay, what is it you're doing? How are you doing? What are you trying to accomplish? What drives you in a day? How do you stay on top of your day? How can we help you carve that plan out? Like we give a game plan, a unique, personalized game plan to every single one of our clients. And no joke, when you ask, like, where do you get all this energy? Where do you get all this idea? Why do you seem so passionate? It's because when I watch amazing people put their trust in us and they get what they wanted from us and more, and then they go out and they have success with it, how can I not be pumped up about what we do? It is the best feeling in the world to watch other people succeed. Now, here's actually something to think about there. Going right back to the top of today's episode, when you go to social media, you'll see a lot of people who have succeeded, and it'll actually oftentimes bring us down because we're like, oh man, they're doing it. Why can't I do it? On top of that, we'll also see a lot of negativity. And so when we think about success and we think about, where we're going, and what we're trying to accomplish when we're doing it, we've got to understand that time is our most important currency. We can't buy it back. So what we want to be doing is we want to be looking to, again, places that are going to fuel us, places that are going to help us, places that are going to put us in the right mindset, that are going to drive us to take action. And have the discipline. Because that's the difference between finishing the year strong or limping into January, crawling into January, crying into January, or not even doing anything at all in January because we didn't get planned enough when we were supposed to back in October. And yes, I said October. See, because that's when we start business planning and marketing plans with our clients. Because it gives us a good 4 to 6 weeks to really get our systems honed in, polished, adjusted, onboard new stuff if we need to, cut other things that we need to. And that puts us right into the top of December. And before all the parties start and all the celebrating starts and everything else starts, and that month rolls by really quickly, we walk into that month already ready for the new year. I got a line I like to share, which is, Monday starts on Sunday. Well, January starts in December. 2026 starts in 2025. And as long as you live by that and you got the discipline to prepare yourself on a regular basis, all those goals, all that stuff you want to accomplish, it becomes so much easier. It's just so important that you got structured your days, that you can see that those 24 hours you have are 24 hours that you're never going to get back. And every minute that you let slip away is just like letting those $100 bills fall out of your pocket while you're walking down the street. Why in the world would you ever do that? I know I shared this story a couple episodes ago, but my son asked me about how to make more time when we were going through his calendar and we were trying to figure out, between, sleeping and going to school and his elite level of baseball and doing homework and wanted to hang with his buddies and wanted to have time for him, that he only had so much time in a day and he just couldn't do as much as he wanted to do. And there's the truth. You can't make more time. But you can use the time you have now wiser. You can use it better. See, because once you see your time clearly, you prioritize better, and bottom line, you hit your goals faster. So again, some action steps here for you. Do an audit of your time. What does a typical day in the life of you look like? What time do you get up? What do you do when you first get up? What time do you tap into email? What time do you tap into social? What time do you do your phone calls? What time do you check online? What time do you go out and prospect? What time do you do your follow-up? What time are your meetings? What time's the extracurriculars for your family? What time are you going to focus on you? And already that sounds overwhelming. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Think about how much we have to do in a day. If you haven't got that structured and carved out and mapped out specifically in your calendar, from 1 to 2, I'm doing this. From 2 to 3, I'm doing that. From 3 to 3:30, I'm going here. And look, don't get me wrong. Yes, have some open blocks of time because we're going to use them as sliding blocks of time. So if we got to move things around a little bit like musical chairs, that's fine. We can do it, but we're still going to get everything we need to get done in a day. So again, action step number 1, map out what a typical day in the life of you looks like. And then figure out where you're leaking time. 2, eliminate one tool or one process that complicates your life. Simplify. If there's an app you're using that you don't like, get rid of it. If there's technology that you signed on to once upon a time because some guy like me on a stage started telling you, you got to do this, you got to do this, but for some reason it ain't working for you, get rid of it. Stop, just stop. You're wasting time. Okay, think about it. What is one tool or one process that you're doing that complicates your life? Again, the goal here is simplify. And the last one, here, let's look ahead to the end of the year and say we got about, 2 months left, 2.5 months left. And again, we look at December as kind of a write-off, right? Holidays, etc., parties, you name it. Make a list of 3 non-negotiables that you're going to focus in on from now until the end of the year that are going to drive you and your business forward. Could be going to the gym. Could be doing more follow-up calls. It could be simply to schedule yourself better. To every single day take 15 minutes on that day to plan for tomorrow. One thing we know, tomorrow is not guaranteed. At all. So to worry about tomorrow makes no sense. To plan for tomorrow, on the other hand, is completely strategic. And the best part is, too, that when you plan for tomorrow, you go into tomorrow excited. You go into tomorrow strategic. And no matter how you feel, there is no wondering. You just got to take action. The other thing to it, the cherry on top, is that when you look back in your days, the past few days and the past few weeks and the past few months and the past few years, you could take stock of how far you've come, how much you've accomplished, and use that to fuel you, to fire you up, to go and do it again and achieve even more tomorrow. So again, the action steps, track a day in the life of you. What does an average day look like? Be specific about your time. Be specific about what you do. Be very, very open and honest with yourself. 2, eliminate one tool or process that overcomplicates things. Your goal is to simplify. And 3, write down at least 1, but I told you 3 non-negotiables. And I'd really, really like you and encourage you to make one of those planning ahead for tomorrow. Here's your takeaway. The overall from today's show. Surround yourself with the right people because community accelerates success. So you need to check out the MindShare Collective. Very important you check it out. Again, everybody here has skin in the game. We do webinars on a regular basis. We've got an online community that's always talking with each other. This is a support mechanism with the right people. It's not some free Facebook group that anybody can just walk into. You got to buy in to be part of this. Everybody's got skin in the game. They want it to work. 2, keep your marketing simple. Direct mail has made its comeback. Repeat and referral win in every market. They always have, they still do, and they always will. Stay focused on that contact list. And last, master your time. Master your mindset. Master your discipline. Because that is how you finish strong. And remember, the people who overcomplicate it all, they stall. But the people who stay consistent, they win. This has been another episode of the MindShare Podcast. Grab your free Ultimate Marketing Bundle at mindshare101.com/free. Support the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation at realtorscareontario.ca/ride. Follow me at David Greenspan 101 on Instagram and DM me with the word KITS if you want a specific introduction to my team. And if it's beyond KITS because you're already a client, then I want you to DM me your 3 non-negotiables for the fall. A big thank you to KITS, Rem, and Revel for sponsoring this episode. Until next time, keep building MindShare because that's how you get the market share. Thank you for tuning in.